Guys. Hi guys, can you hear me loud and clear? Type a 1 if you can hear me loud and clear. Okay, hi. Oh, thank you guys. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. A long time no see to some of you because ever since I posted the advertisement on this webinar, right? Some of you replied long time no see or long time no hear. I'm sorry, I'm still around. I've just been a bit busy with fulfilling classes, right? Some private classes as well as consults. But not to worry, I'm here, right? I'm not lost. Okay, I'm still around. All right. Cool. Well, welcome to tonight's webinar. Now, I just love the title. Check this out, guys. Right? Wealth acceleration. All right. Two of my favorite words. One is wealth, and the other one is acceleration. That means get wealthy fast or earn money quickly. How many of you love that? Type of me. Right. Of course, even Mark, right? All right. Okay, good stuff. All right, now there's a reason why I'm asking you this question. This is only part one of the question. All right. So part one is how many of you, all right, would like to make money fast? Or how many of you would like to make more money? Not necessarily rich, but just more money. Okay, type of me. Okay. Remember those of you who type me, all right? This is only part one. Okay, I'm going to ask part two as we go through the night. All right. So just let me share my slides with you guys. Okay. Of course, I have to pick a background with the fire picture, right? Why? Because, all right, because we are entering into period 9. Now, just in case, some of you here are absolutely beginners, first time joining any Joya free webinars or events. This year is 2023, and this is the last year of period 8. One period lasts for 20 years. All right, so we are in the last year of period 8, and next year in 2024, we would officially enter and fully transit into a new era, all right, or what we call period 9. Okay, each period has its own set of trends, okay, patterns, as well as certain secrets towards wealth, relationships, and certain health focus. All right, guys. Okay, now just in case, how many of you here are absolutely new first-time attendees, or you guys are like absolutely new beginners? Type of 1. Daphne, right? Jennifer, Vivian. Well, welcome. Yeah, welcome. Let's. I recognize a few names here, right? Are you sure you guys are new? All right, doesn't matter. All right, what's up, Joe? Okay, so, well, first of all, right, we are entering into a period called period 9. And I would like to just announce that it is a time of new opportunities. Yay. Okay, why is this so exciting? Well, because for the longest time, I would say for the last maybe 40 years, that means in period 7 and period 8, in the last 40 years, every time when someone thinks about doing something, like starting a business, all right, pursuing an opportunity, many times we would face the the obstruction or the rejection of, I can't beat the existing guys. All right, they are already giants. They would just step on me and basically squash me or crush me. Right, there's no way of me taking on the competition, because the competition is already so great. It's so big. They're gigantic. All right, for example, taking on Facebook, Google, and Microsoft. All right, for example, right. So for the longest time, a lot of people, they just, let their dreams slip through their fingers, and then they're sort of like forget it, I'll just stick to my job, stick to my 9 to 5 job, right? And then I'll just call it a day. Yeah, but not to worry. Okay, why do I say this is a time of new opportunities? To be very honest, guys, the last time someone experienced period 9 was 180 years ago. Already 63 years young, Vincent. Don't worry. Don't worry. Okay. I'll show you exactly what to do. All right. Okay. Don't worry. Okay. Don't worry. Age is just a number. It's not so true in period 7 and 8, but in period 9, age is never a concern. All right. You could just be a millionaire in 12 months. That is the absolute truth, guys. Okay, that's why I say it's a time of new opportunities. Now, I'm not going to overly encourage you guys and paint a really fake picture that, oh wow, this is the time when everybody can be a millionaire. It's true, but it still does require a certain level of commitment, right? Perseverance, okay, as well as being in line with the new strategy. Yes. The secret is in the new strategy in this new period. Okay. Pauline, you are 44. You feel like your career just started feeling motivated. Me too. Guess what? I'm also 44, and I'm only like 2 years as a JY consultant. All right. It is my second career. All right. So not to worry. I fully understand what you're talking about. Okay. And why is it a time of new opportunities? Because fire talks about a borderless environment. Okay, a borderless environment. In the old days, right? Oh, thank you. I don't look 44 because I've got excessive fats in my cheeks, so that's like natural skin pulling. Yeah. Yeah. So back to the fire, right? So fire, we're talking about sunlight, all right? Sunlight, it will reach all parts of the world as long as it's not covered, right, in darkness. So this talks about an environment of a borderless kind of trade, interactions, right, accessibility. All right. So that's why it's always talking about new opportunities, because everything will change. Why do I say that? In metaphysics, we have 5 elements, right? The wood, fire, water, metal, and earth. Fire is the only element that is able to transform every single other element. So all the industries that you guys know, okay, for the last 40, 60 years even, they are all going to change. All right. So when the entire landscape changes, new opportunities will arise. At the same time, a lot of familiar, nostalgic, old school stuff will start to disappear and become irrelevant. Okay. It's also a time of fast money. All right. It's also a time of fast money. Why? Because fire represents quickness, very fast. Okay. Very, very fast. All right. So that's why it's not a time. Yes, every time we need to make money, but in certain periods, we can take our time, slow and steady, accumulating assets, right? That was for the last 20 years. But looking ahead 20 years, all right, starting from 2024 to 2043, this is a time of making money fast. That is why I say that regardless of your age, if you have 2 to 3 years of free time to spare, you definitely have an opportunity for this. All right, guys? Angela, you're 64, but you still want to do more, right? Is it still possible? Absolutely. And it's also your time. All right, Angela? Not to worry, yeah? All right. And Joseph, yeah. All right. And it also represents multiple streams of income as one of the secret sources, all right, to accumulating massive wealth. All right, guys? Because for the last, 20 to 40 years, right, we were always very loyal to doing one thing, like doing one job, running one business. Don't you agree, guys? Okay. And then a lot of you will feel that, nowadays, right, it's getting tougher and tougher. Do you know why? right? Because you guys are still depending on one source of revenue. That's the reason why, because the entire landscape is changing. Whatever that used to be good, right, is becoming a bit more volatile because of increased competition as well as changing demand and supply. All right. So basically, one of the secret sources, all right, in period 9 to earn money is in earning small amounts of money per revenue stream, but accumulatively over multiple streams of revenue. That's how you amass, massive income. All right, guys. All right. Whatever I've been saying is called period 9 wealth. All right. Whatever I'm saying is called period 9 wealth. Yeah, Robin, you started your business 3 years ago, right? I remember that. Yeah. Okay, so period 9 wealth, right, guys? So why am I talking about period 9 wealth? Because for you to understand period 9 wealth, we only have one simple objective, and that is alignment. Are you doing things in alignment to the trends of period 9? All right, when I say trends, I'm not talking about what is period 9 about. I'm talking about what is the approach. All right, the keyword here is the approach. What is the approach to accumulating wealth in period 9? Okay. Now, in order for you to understand period 9 wealth, there are three, I've broken it down to three basic levels. Okay. One is macro, next is micro, and finally is the super micro. Okay. So the macro is talking about, period 9 landscape. That means let's talk about the big picture, because the entire world is going through a massive transformation, because the fire element is the transformative element of all 5 elements. So not only are we welcoming the element of fire or the fire energy, the fire energy is also causing massive transformation in the other industries represented by the other elements. Okay, guys. So a lot of you think that, oh, fire, right? But it's not just about fire, but what fire is doing to the other elements that some of you are in, right? For example, wood is education, logistics and medical is water, right? Real estate is earth, right? And finance, right, is metal, for example. All of them are going through some form of transformation, even as we speak right now. Okay. So for you guys to know about the landscape, right? Why is it so important? It's because you guys need to know where the transformation is heading, so that you guys could align yourselves or position yourselves ahead of the curve. All right. So that when the opportunity comes, it's almost effortless for you to just receive. Okay. Now, next, what is the micro all about? Micro is talking about the exact wealth strategy. Since this webinar is about wealth accumulation in the quickest time possible, all right, definitely we need to talk about period 9 wealth strategy. All right. And finally, what's the super micro? The personalized wealth profile. All of us have our own parts charts, right? All of us are born differently, made differently, brought up differently, exposed differently. Okay, so all of us have certain tendencies, all of us have certain trained skill sets. Okay, so what is our wealth profile that allows us to accumulate wealth in the path of least resistance, as well as eliminating any inborn wealth traps? All right, once you're able to align these three categories, you will be able to tap into period 9 wealth, right, in the fastest time possible. All right, guys, so now, everybody clear so far? Type a me if you guys follow. Type a me. All right, just to make sure you guys are still awake. All right. Don't worry, this webinar is not going to take very, very long, like how I used to do it, because I'm also aligning my delivery to the nature of fire element. Because nowadays, a lot of people like shorter, bite-sized, but focused and precise information. All right, that's the reason why TikTok has gone so big, because people like bite size. All right, so not to worry. So stay to the end. All right, stay to the end. Okay, you won't take that much time. Oh, thanks, buddy. That's why I love you guys, right? All right. Now, I just need to validate with you guys over here. Now, if you understand metaphysics or you believe in metaphysics, all right, if you believe in metaphysics, we always practice or we respect the school of affinity. The reason why you guys get to see my advertisement, my posting, because even though I posted it, not many people see it. All right. The reason why you guys see it, register, and you guys are here with me live is all based on the power of affinity. Okay. So I am teaching you guys how to tap into your internal universe over here. You guys want to know how to do that? All right. It's free, by the way. All right. Because all of us are born with it. All right. Okay. Now let me validate with you guys something. All right. You guys tell me whether this is true. Since 2017 till now, all right, let me repeat. Since 2017 till now, 2023, okay, do you have feelings of uncertainty and restlessness? That means you feel that there's something about to happen, all right? There might be some writing on the wall. As time goes by, you start to feel there's this uneasiness. This uneasiness is starting to increase, but you can't seem to put your finger on you can't seem to put your finger on it. Like you don't really have any evidence, or you're not exactly sure what's going to happen. It's like this picture over here. The whole forest is very foggy. You sort of see the road in front of you, but yet you don't see, any further. Okay, you don't seem to know what's going on. You want to do something, but you're not sure. Okay, how many of you actually feel that way since 2017, and ever since 2020, this feeling has been growing stronger and stronger and stronger? Yes, right? Yes. Okay, first of all, let me reassure you, you're not going crazy. Relax. Okay, whatever you're feeling, okay, the whole world goes through this also, just that no one explains it to you. Okay, no one explains it to you. Or some of you, right? Some of you might have an absolute compulsion. All right, you have such a strong feeling of wanting to do something. You feel that you have to do something, but you have no idea what to do. Okay, how many of you have that feeling? All right, and it's slowly like, you're about to explode. Or you feel like you're about to explode. It's like, bloody hell, tell me. All right, what is this that I'm supposed to do? The feeling is overwhelming now. It's taking over my emotions and my mental state. What is going on, right? You guys, right? Yeah, okay. Or you guys realize that you are starting to change in terms of your value system and in what you believe in. All right. For example, right, just say for the last 40 to 60 years, you have always been a very loyal worker, right? You have always respected the hierarchy of authority. All right. But then as time goes by, especially starting from 2017, especially in 2020 onwards, all right, you guys say, you guys are starting to stop following or believing in the principles that you guys used to believe in, and you guys are starting to look inwards. All right, and you guys say, maybe I should do something different, like do my own business instead of following a boss. All right, I don't think I want to live in this house anymore. I would like to move house. All right, this marriage is not working for me anymore. I think it's better and happier for two of us to go our separate ways. Okay, or it's time to get married. Okay, how many of you feel like that? Type a me. Okay, yes, 2017 you left your job, right? Yes, right? You see, guys. Okay, see, I thought this was important for me to address what's going on in all of our minds and in our hearts. Okay, because this is what we call, you know who is talking to you? Okay, this is called your internal compass. is talking to you. Your internal subconscious, your internal universe is telling you that things are going to change. Watch out. You better pivot before something really hurts you. All right. Because do you know what is this internal compass, or this what we say, this subconsciousness? It's a very mystical defense mechanism. That's how we are made. Every time when we feel that there's something that is dangerous or it might harm us, all right, we start to feel fear, right? We start to feel panicky. That removes us from that dangerous situation. It's a defense mechanism. Basically, it just tells you that something is not aligned, and it's telling you to quickly align yourself. Okay, let me explain to you why this is happening. Okay, those of you who are parts practitioners would know that we are transiting from period 8 to period 9, and the transition started as early as 2017. Okay, and it's going to fully complete its transition in the year 2024, next year. Okay, most of you would know this information. But when during this transition of 7 years, what happens, guys? All right, what happens? We transit as well, because we are in this universe. We can't escape it. When the energy transits, right, the energy transits through us as well, because we are part of this environment. Okay, we are part of this environment. And what this does is that it triggers our internal compass. Now, some of you might be saying, Kenneth, what are you talking about? What is this internal compass you're talking about? Okay, let me ask you guys if you guys have ever had this experience, okay? Have you been to like a cafe, a restaurant, someone's home? You have gone into maybe a hotel room, right? And you just felt so uncomfortable. You have no idea. Everything looks great, brand new, clean, everything. Just that there's this thing in you that makes you so uncomfortable that you just feel like running out of that place. How many of you have had that experience? Type of me. You have, right? Why is this happening to us? Because our internal compass has sensed that the feng shui of that area that we are in is not in alignment with us. That means the feng shui of that place is not in alignment. It doesn't benefit us. In fact, it might be going against us. That's why it's telling us to quickly get out of there. So next time you guys go to a place and you feel extremely uncomfortable, just leave. It's okay. All right, because this is your internal compass giving you a bit of a fair warning. All right, so as we transit from period 8 to period 9, our internal compass gets triggered as well again. Okay, but what is this really? What is this danger that our internal compass is telling us? All right, see, I do not know who's going to attend my webinar, but yet I know how you guys are feeling, right? Why is this so mysterious, right? Because when we transit into a new era or a new period, the energies change, the trend changes, the way we do things change. Okay, so that means a lot of us are not really in a position of stability moving into period 9. All right, because what is danger? Danger means unstable environment. All right, so when your internal compass gives you this feeling of being lost, uneasiness, is telling you to do something to increase the level of safety and stability into your lives. Okay, guys? Now, again, so based on this, right? Now, at the beginning of this webinar, I asked all of you, how many of you want to make money? Basically, all of you said yes, me, right? I want to make money quick. Great. All right. But can you see that all of you say yes because it's just a very surface answer? If I ask you again, and I want to talk to the inner voice of all of you guys, why do you want to make more money, and why do you want to make money fast? Why? Okay. Why? You will realize that a lot of us would have different answers. All right, have different answers. Yes, Thomas says freedom of choice. all right, inflation, financial security, time is money, freedom, right? Okay, great. I'm glad you guys are saying to retire comfortably and live life with family, right? So family as well, right? Freedom. See, a lot of you say pursue my dreams and freedom. So a lot of you are talking about financial freedom, isn't it? Or at the very least, financial independence. All right. What is your definition of financial freedom, guys? All right. A lot of people in the past used to tell me financial freedom means, Kenneth, I tell you, I can do whatever I want at any time. How many of you agree? Type of me. Okay. How many of you agree? Type of me. Okay. I can do whatever I want at any time. That was the definition of financial freedom that a lot of people defined right in the past. Okay, let me tell you another definition and you tell me which one is more accurate. Okay, to me, financial freedom is about not having to do whatever I do not want to do. Think about it. Is it really about doing whatever I want whenever? Or is it having the freedom of, if I don't want to do it, I don't have to do it? I'm not trapped because I need to work for money. I don't feel trapped because, I have no choice. What is freedom? Freedom means choices, isn't it? All right, exactly, right? So the idea is stability and freedom, so that we don't have to feel trapped in any way. All right. And why we call it financial freedom is because we have enough money so that it triggers a feeling of freedom. All right. And we never ever have to feel trapped or get caught in the ball and chain anymore. Okay. Now, so a lot of us here, right? The outer reason why you want to make money fast is, I want freedom, I want more money, I want better life, all that stuff, right? But I want to talk to the inner side of you. That means, you see, most of us here have a certain moral or ethical responsibility to the people we love. Okay, some of us, right? Some of us who are born, just say in the 70s, 80s, and maybe even in the early 90s, a lot of us are what we call the sandwich generation. That means above us, all right, we have to take care of our elderly parents who are unfortunately will be victims of medical conditions, chronic discomfort, all right, and constantly needs medical care that costs a lot of money, right? A financial burden. All right. And nowadays, families are getting smaller and smaller. That means the financial burden is no longer shared between 7 to 8 siblings. It's probably like 2 or maybe even 1 nowadays. All right. That we are called the sandwich generation. How many of you here are the sandwich generation? Type of 1. Okay, so what happens? See, so many of you guys, right? Me too, right? So what happens is that, in sandwich generation, you have the moral obligation, and of course you love your parents. That's why you are willing to, spend the money on your parents. But when you have young kids as well, you want to be a good parent and provide them all the education and the experiences of having a healthy childhood and growing up in the most beneficial way possible. So what are you left with? You are a young executive. All right, you are a young executive trying to fight your way through and navigate your way through this jungle of competition. All right, you're trying to get ahead every single day, right? And you're just trying to climb up the corporate ladder or even run your own business and try to expand and make more money. All right. At the end of the day, why we call the sandwich generation is because we end up sacrificing for the top and bottom generation. All right. And that after a while puts more pressure on us because we can't stop. Okay, there's a saying from Hong Kong that you have time to die, but you don't have time to get sick, because the moment you get sick, you stop working, the food stops. All right. So basically, why am I saying all this to you? Because making money is not hard. Okay, it's not hard, but it does require effort. Okay, so a lot of times when we are motivated to make more money, or when we need to persevere to make more money, these internal real motivations, right, keep us going. Not really wanting to increase the number of zeros in our bank accounts. That's on the surface. But in reality, we have a moral obligation to our loved ones or even to ourselves. All right, guys? Okay? So please do not look at making money as more just like increasing zeros in your bank account and making you feel all good. All right. You guys are wonderful people and good people. You guys actually, they are just trying to satisfy a moral obligation. Okay, a moral obligation and trying to live the fullest life possible, all right, in your lifetime. Okay. So when you guys want to make more money, and when you guys are feeling this fear in you, there's this lack of stability in your financial survival. Okay, so for financial survival. Okay, now when we go through the transition from period 8 to period 9, now most of you would have studied or just say get educated about the trends. You know, it's a time of women executives, right? Women of power, right? It's talking about technology. It's talking about mental health, heart and eyes issues, right? It's talking about robotics. It's talking about beauty, right? All this, a lot of you would have known, right, through all the free webinars and even Datuk Joey mentioning it himself. But essentially, these are trends. But what a lot of people do not know is that trends is just one category of change. Okay, whenever we move from one period to another, trends is always the main category that people focus on because it's easy to understand. Okay, the opportunities, what's going on, what's obvious. But what is not obvious would be the change in principles and personal values, the change in mindset, the change in how you see relationships and how you approach relationships. All right, a change in how you accumulate and generate wealth. All right, and is there a change in health focus as well? All right, these are the other areas that also changes with the trends. But a lot of people don't really talk about it because this is a bit hard to talk about because these are intangible, right? It's not obvious. All right, you have to observe human behavior in order to see the change. Right, some of you here are already facing this. All right, you were such a loyal worker, suddenly you just feel like quitting and being your own boss. All right, suddenly you used to be such an obedient, you never talk back to your parents, but then you realize nowadays you're getting very agey and you're starting to be a bit more aggressive and you tend to disagree with your parents. Okay, you start to see more fights in families. Okay, you start to see more families rushing for wealth, for example. Okay, what happened, guys? Okay, why am I saying all this? Because one of the major trends is a rise in failed marriages or divorces. The other trend that you might see in the later part of period 9 is when kids start to blame parents for not such a comfortable life, for example. All right. For example, they look at their friends, all right, and they'll look at their parents and they'll go, my friends' parents are brain surgeons. They live in $30 million houses. We only live in the flat. Mom, dad, why are you guys so poor? Okay, it sounds bad. Okay, but because this is a change of principles. Got it, guys? It's a change of principles. It's a change of how you respect the relationship. Okay, guys? And a lot of times it's triggered because of a wealth focus incident. All right. Esther Lim, my kids already started, right? Okay, so this is the time. If your kids are still young, try your best to inculcate, grounded principles or grounded values. All right. Even if you have to bite the bullet, right? You have to let them make them go through some pain, all right, to understand the true value of making money for themselves. All right, because this will come. All right, too much social media. You see a lot of people challenging authorities, the police, right, everywhere. right? It's a time of challenging authority. Okay, guys, you will see the principles starting to change, the mindset, the heart set, peer pressure, exactly, right? All that stuff. So all this changes in the undercurrent, unfortunately, and it's not obvious until the greater population starts to behave in the same way. Okay, so today you guys would know, so you guys could start to increase your awareness and attention when you see certain behaviors in the public, in society. Yeah. Okay. So now, in order for you to understand, because period 9 is a period where it changes and transforms a lot of industries that we are used to, all right, into a world that is totally, or I would say 90% new to us. I would like to bring you guys back, okay, to period 7, because I find that when I bring you guys back to period 7 and explain my way to period 9, you guys will have a much clearer understanding when I bring you guys through 3 periods. Okay? Now, period 7 is a time from 1984 to 2003, 20 years. All right? Period 7 belongs to the element of metal. Now, for industries, metal represents finance. All right, generally finance, mechanical engineering. That's why during this time, it was the industrial age, right? There was a lot of big factories with big machines, right? Very metal, very engineering based. Okay, but of course, this is just talking about the industry. But what does it represent in terms of attitude, in terms of mindset? All right, the invisible stuff. Okay, it represents a time of people just being very hardworking. All right, because metal is talking about having a discipline to just do whatever it takes. All right, so it was a time of a lot of hardworking people. This was also the time when the female generation started to come into the workforce, to join the men in the workforce. It was also during period 7. Okay, and to your surprise, a lot of them went into a lot of female workers came into society to work as IT technicians. That means they were part of building the pioneer batch of infrastructure for the IT that we have today, for the technology that we have today. All right, the wiring and all that stuff. You'll be surprised, right? It was a time whereby people believed the value system was work hard, save money. All right, how many of your parents actually went through this, and you hear this before, right? Work hard, guys, and then make sure you make sure you have savings and always save for a rainy day. How many of you have heard that saying before? Type of me. Okay, type of me. You have, right? That saying came from period 7, guys. Okay, that saying came from period 7 because back then that was the value system. Old school, right? Yeah, because it's period 7, it's definitely old school, right? Because back then, why was it the value system? Because back then, as long as you work hard and you have savings, generally you had a pretty stable and good life, right? You could afford a 1 house and 1 car, and you can feed 7 children, basically. All right, based on 1 salary. All right, based on 1 salary. Okay, yeah. All right. So okay, and then metal also represents very quick action. Do whatever it takes. So it's quick action. It's very quick action. Talks about being very decisive. This is what I have to do. Just do it. Do not argue too much. Do not complain too much. Just do what you have to do. Very decisive, very disciplined. Okay, that was a time of metal energy. Okay, metal also talks about structure, respecting the hierarchy, respecting authority. So people in society back in period 7 respected a lot about higher authority and organization, people with authority. If you tell people that, oh, I'm a surgeon, you can be a terrible surgeon. Everybody that goes under your knife dies, but because you're a surgeon, people respect you. Okay, back then your job was your identity. All right, it wasn't about whether you're a good person or how much contribution you do to society. It was your job that defined you. All right, how many of you agree with this? Right, I'm a lawyer, right? I'm a doctor, right? All right, I'm an auditor, Okay, right? I'm an owner. I'm a business owner of employing 1,000 people. All right. Back then, people spoke like that because whatever they did defined their status in society. All right. Exactly. Okay. It also talks about loyalty. Okay. Meta talks about loyalty. So back then in period 7, your first job could be your last job. Correct? Your first job could be your last job. All right, because it's true loyalty. Okay. Back then, if you job hop too much, people would not employ you because you have no loyalty, you have no integrity, right? It wasn't you are not a good person to employ. All right. But in this day and age, if you stay in a job for too long, the people will say we can't employ you because, all right, we give you points for loyalty, but you have 0 points for having exposure to the rest of the other industries. Things have changed, guys. Okay. Okay, so then period 8, this is what we're more familiar with. Period 8 is from 2004 to 2023. Okay, it belongs to the element of earth. Okay, guys? Yeah, you see, correct, right? Your dad's first job was his last, right? It was the trend of the period. Okay, and the trend is made up of people's behavior because of their value system, guys. All right, now it's starting to be a bit clearer to you guys, right? Okay, now period 8. It belongs to the element of earth, and earth normally talks about any industries that deals with the land, right? That's why from 2004 to 2023, a lot of people made money through property investments, or just say the house that they are staying has appreciated in value and they could just sell and retire and downgrade to a smaller unit and they'll be fine, right? Because that was a time of earth prosperity. Now, earth talks about nurturing. So a lot of people, all right, earth talks about nurturing. So a lot of people, when they go into any organization, it's always about learning and training. This is not necessarily education from books, but it's more like learning how to do certain things, learning a certain skill set, right? Or learning a certain process. All right. Whichever company that you joined, they had this training program. Okay. This training program for you to, to get used to the processes, to the culture and all that stuff. All right. It was also a time when people started to pay more focus on investments. All right, guys, think about it. Now, as we approach into period 9, to be honest, if you have no job tomorrow, but you have 2 houses, all you have to do is sell one and you're generally okay. How many of you agree with me? Type of 1. All right, type of 1. Okay, exactly, right? Because if you have 2 houses, that means you were performing the secret sauce of period 8, that was accumulating investments, property. Okay, so can you see how important it is? You might not be the smartest person in making money, but as long as you align your activities and your approach, remember this word approach, and you align your approach to the period, generally you'll be okay. Okay, generally you'll be okay. Now, Earth, as we know, doesn't move, all right, except in earthquakes, right? It doesn't really move, right? The mountain is always there after 1,000 years, for example. So it's a time of slow and steady approach, okay? It's also a one-man show, all right? Because the mountain, they are generally quite territorial. That means this piece of land is mine. All right, the mountain might be behind, next to each other, but basically the land is pretty much, individualistic, I would say. All right, they don't really share. Okay, right? So it's a time of one-man show. You could see that, Bill Gates built his Microsoft business. But it's a one-man show. All right, Jack Ma built Alibaba. All right, Mark Zuckerberg built Facebook. Right, it's always one person. You realize this? Very territorial. And it's talking about accumulation and building. All right, accumulation and building the company, accumulation of assets, right? Microsoft, Alibaba, Facebook, below them, they have thousands of companies that they have acquired. So it's always about command and conquer. back in period 8, you will see this, right? Now, but this is in terms of business. How about how about the average Joe on the street? The normal 9 to 5 working executive, all right? Back in 2004 to 2023, the very common thing is you earn your salary, all right? There's longevity in your employment. So your salary is pretty much stable, all right? Then you get into some investments, some very conservative investments like fixed deposits, whereby you can earn about 2 to 3% a year. Every year, you get to earn extra a few $100s. And over a period of 10 to 20 years, right? For example, okay, then you start to accumulate your wealth through the compounding effect. How many of you are very familiar with that method of growing your wealth? Well, that was a very common thing in the last 20 years. Okay, that is a very common thing in the last 20 years. Now, I want to ask you guys truthfully. Now, if I tell you guys to just draw a salary, every year just invest to earn a few $100s, how many of you feel that is too slow? Type of me. I see. You feel it's too slow, right? It's a waste of time, right? But the thing is, if I ask this question before 2017, a lot of you guys would be generally you guys might find it boring, but you guys have a higher acceptance level. But ever since 2017, most of you guys would say, oh my God, that is too boring. That is too slow. All right. It's a waste of my time. Why is that? Why is that so? Why are you guys feeling this way? Because in period 9, 2024 to 2043 is the element of fire. Okay, because internally your compass have already moved, shifted, and pointed to the energies of fire, which is talking about fast. All right. Why is fire used to represent fast? In fact, it's super fast. If you guys can try, okay, to imagine a candle flame, is it always flickering and changing directions at every split second? Yes or no? Type a yes. All right, if you say yes, all right? All right, stuff like that, right? Why? Because it's constantly changing. So element of fire represents constant movement. Things happen very fast. It just flickers. It just takes half a second to change direction. All right. So it's not just quick. It's not just fast. It's super fast. All right. It's super, super fast. All right. Have you guys heard the speed of light? All right. Have you guys heard the speed of light? Type a yes if you heard the speed of light. All right. So sometimes on rainy days, right, you will see the lightning first before you hear the thunder, correct? Yes or no? Do you know why? Do you know why you see the lightning first before you hear the thunder? Because your eyes are in front of your ears. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. All right. Yeah, because light travels faster than sound. Okay. Yeah, because light travels faster than sound. Yeah, okay. So that's why it's not just fast, it's super fast. Okay. Now, fire, those of you who understand a bit more about period 9, it's talking about identity. As much as we know is women empowerment, as much as we know is the rise of technology, right? But if you understand the Kwa, the Li Kwa that represents period 9, I know those of you who are beginners, ignore me for a sec, right? It represents identity. Okay, so identity means I want to find myself. I want to be who I am that makes myself happy. Okay, that's why there's a change in value system. There's a change in how you see things. All right, there's a change of direction. All right, so for example, but nowadays it's getting a bit ridiculous. Some guys want to identify themselves as girls, and girls want to identify as guys. But then some people are a bit ridiculous to a point where they want to identify themselves as a broccoli, for example. It's a true story. Okay, some people wanted to identify as I'm a broccoli. I have no idea how, but stuff like that. Okay, so it's a bit of trying to find your identity that makes you comfortable, makes you happy, because fire is talking about happiness. All right, so what happens is that fire also represents spiritual awakening. Now, do not misunderstand. Spiritual awakening is not talking about being religious. Okay, spiritual awakening is talking about a heightened level of awareness. All right, it's basically last year I was trying to when I was explaining this, I called this the awakening process, or people starting to wake up. People are starting to wake up and say that, oh my God, I'm going to stop working for an idiot boss, and I'm going to start working for myself, even though I might only make half my pay, but I just want to be happy. It's about waking up. All right, it's about waking up. All right, so this is called self-empowerment, because you're going to start to embark on certain skill sets, learning, right, just to strengthen your identity and strengthen your direction of being happy, doing what you want. Okay, all right. Now, it's also a time of collaboration, very different from period 8. Period 8 is one-man show. All right. Period 9 is collaboration. Why do I say collaboration? If you can try to imagine a candle flame, right? All I need to do is and the flame is gone. One candle flame can't really do much damage, okay, at a short period of time. However, if you put multiple candle flames together, you get the concept of forest fire. Agree, guys? Type a 1 if you agree. If you put multiple candles together, it's a concept of forest fire. All right. So this is called the power of collaboration. I scratch your back and you scratch mine. All right. And because it's multiple people or multiple entities coming together, it's talking about multiple sources. All right. That means I might not earn $1 million from this business that I have, but I'm okay earning, just say, an additional $10,000 from my YouTube channel per year. If I do some e-commerce, I'm okay earning $20,000 per year from my e-commerce. And just say I have about 5 to 6 revenue streams. Generally, I will earn more money than period 8. This is what I mean by multiple sources. Guys, do you see that happening right now? How many of you guys can see that happening right now? Vincent is saying, what happened to investments? Lost to self-empowerment. Okay. Investments are talking about long-term, Vincent. All right. The problem is because of the flickering fire, the landscape is constantly changing, which affects long-term investments. All right. Because it becomes less predictable, and long-term investments take a long time. I'm not saying that long-term investments are bad, but long-term investments should be just one more revenue stream. All right. So you can't fully depend on it, but it can just be another channel while you have others. Got it, Vincent? All right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now, can you see the main difference, guys? Period 7, period 8, and period 9. Okay. Now, period 7, this is more or less the value system on what we call the mantra. Okay. Get a job, work hard, and save for a rainy day. Most of you guys would have heard that growing up, right? Because it was a stable environment. This mantra works, this value system works in a stable environment, right? Earth, during the period 8, 2004 to 2023, study hard, because it's talking about nurturing, right? Study hard, have good grades, get a good job, and invest. That was the mantra of period 8. All right. So now you can see those people who are retiring right now, they will start to clear off certain assets so that they can enjoy their retirement. Okay, this also works in an environment that is stable. All right, but what happens in period 9, guys? Study hard, have good grades, get a good job, and get retrenched. All right, because of the flickering fire, all right, your job is no longer stable. Got it, guys? The environment is no longer stable purely because the landscape is constantly changing. When the landscape is constantly changing, demand and supply constantly changes as well. Agree, guys? All right. So it's not that your companies are being idiots or vindictive about it. They are just moving with the times. They are just moving with the demand, because their job is to make money as well, to move with the times, to follow where the money is, right? And if your position is no longer relevant, you are excess cost to them. They will get rid of you. Okay, they will get rid of you. Okay, so you see, in times of, so this suddenly now, when we grew up in a time of, stability, longevity of employment and nurturing, suddenly when we come into period 9, where, oh my God, suddenly everything changes all the time. I no longer, everything makes me fearful. Now you know why your internal compass, all your internal compasses are being triggered, guys, because it senses a time of instability, and you having only one source of income, all right, or 1.5 sources of income is not enough to create that level of stability in your lives. That's the reason why you guys are having this uneasy feeling. Does it make sense, guys? Okay, and I know this pretty well. I'll explain to you why later. Okay, why I know this for a fact. Okay, how many of you start to get some clarity as I explain? All right, type of me. Okay, type of me if you guys can see more clarity why you guys are feeling this way. Okay, yeah, and it's not a coincidence as we approach period 9. All right, as we are very close to fully completing the transition into period 9, because the compass is pointing to the higher energy as period 9 is getting closer and closer and closer. Okay, yeah. Okay, yes, more clarity and more jittery, but at least you know where the danger is, Jen, because the danger is invisible. That is the scary part. Okay, now just to understand, because fire is the transformative element. Okay, it's the transformative element. Okay, so how does fire affect other elements, or what we call other industries or other landscapes? Okay, fire, yes, represents technology, but come on, not all of us, the whole world can't all be in technology. All right, some of you are in banking, some of you are in education, some of you are in medical, some of you are in property. Come on, right? We can't expect everybody to be in technology. Okay, so what happens to you guys? What happens to you if you're not in the fire industry? What transformation can you expect? Now, as we go from period 8 to period 9, initially all the property agents panic because because period 8 was a time of property prosperity. All right, so when we move to period 9, as human beings, they naturally jump to conclusions that, oh my God, that's the end of property. That's it. I'm going to die. I'm going to lose my income. I'm going to lose everything. Okay, I'm going to lose everything. All right, no. All right, because the real element or the real industry that's going to get hit, or I would say that goes through the biggest level of transformation, is metal. Why do I say that? Because fire counters metal. All right, those of you who know Bazi, those of you who know metaphysics in general, all right, the 5 elements, fire counters metal. Metal normally talks about the finance industry. That means I'm talking about the banks. All right, I'm talking about the central banks. Right, I'm talking about employment in banks. A lot of people are going to be replaced by systems, AI, all that stuff, right? The way we invest is going to change. That's why there was a rise of Bitcoin, right? There's an alternative payment currency, right? There's also increase in payment gateways, right, guys? Stuff like that. So insurance is going to change as well. A lot of people buy their insurance online. They no longer go through an agent, right? So anything that deals with the way we approach finance is going to change. All right. The finance industry, the way we approach money, the mindset, the attitude, the heart set, everything is going to change. And that's the reason why this webinar was born. Okay, guys? All right. So those of you who are property agents, or you guys are working in the property line, stop panicking. You guys are okay. All right. You guys will go through some level of transformation, but not the detrimental situation that you guys imagine to be. Okay. Okay. Automobile, yes, automobile is also metal because the car is made of metal. It's engineering. All right. So that's why you get those electric cars. All right, you get those electric cars as well. It's going to change. All right. A lot of car workshops are going to go out of business because electric cars have less moving parts. Agree? Right? Yeah. So relax. I know you guys are talking about education, all that stuff. Okay. Yes, I know. Okay. So when the transformation happens, values, attitude, mindset, heart set, principles, the entire approach changes, guys. And to be very honest, I'm not going to wing it. All right. No one knows exactly what we are going to face. So why am I telling you this? I need you guys to increase your awareness. That means your spiritual awakening. Open your eyes and open your ears, big, and observe. All right, because 180 years ago and 180 years later, the entire landscape has changed. No one knows what to expect. Agree? All right. And if you know that the metal-related industries are going to go through the biggest form of transformation, pay close attention, right? Finance, engineering, manufacturing, right? Let's say communication, all right? Communication management, all right? Professional industries, government, all right? The types of leadership, these are all metal. All right, those of you who are in the just say the Army, Air Force, Navy, all this military, that's all metal as well. All right. Those of you who stock forex is trading is underwater because buying and selling is quick. It's quick. All right. But what happens is, but there's a metal component because it's finance, right? So CT is asking stock forex trading. Trading is water, buy sell. It's more water, but instead of going through a broker, you're doing this online already. You're doing this on your own through a platform, correct? That's the transformation of eliminating the human factor and doing your own trading online 24/7. All right, airlines is water as well, it's transportation. Okay, yeah. Analyst is more earth. All right. E-com is more water and fire. Okay, construction is earth. All right. Communications is metal, but Adeline, nowadays communication relates to connectivity, which is actually fire. Okay, unless you are selling hardware and just say hardware and wiring, the old school stuff, then that will be metal. Yeah. Okay, guys. Okay, I understand. A lot of you guys are going to ask me all this, right? AI is fire because it's a technology. Okay, yeah. Okay, app is fire. Okay, yeah. Education is earth. All right, I'm just trying to. Okay. Auditing is metal. Okay, auditing is metal because governance. All right, yeah. Okay. You see, I knew it. Everybody's good. Oh my God, consulting is water. All right. Okay. Don't worry. Okay. Casey, okay, what I've just gone through. Okay, so let me finish off this, right? So period 7, period 8 was a dependable environment, and we enjoyed the longevity of employment. So a lot of value system and the strategy, okay, to generate and accumulate wealth was only meant for a stable environment. In period 9 is a non-dependable environment because things keep changing. All right, things keep changing. It's a time of aggression as well. It's a time of transformation. All right, so if the external environment is non-dependable, what is left? Self-reliance. Okay, we are self-reliant to create our own wealth, or we are supposed to come up with our own strategy, all right, to accumulate our wealth. All right, guys, because this is the strategy moving into an unstable environment. Okay, this is what your internal compass is vibrating about. Okay, guys, right? Okay. Now, what I've just briefly gone through with you guys is the 5 element cycle, or what we call the evolution of the 5 elements that normally represents the technology, that represents the industries as well as the job roles. That's the next level, the job roles. Sometimes we may be in a less suitable industry based on our parts chart, okay, but our activities, the role that we participate in could be in alignment. That is still okay as well. Sales is water, yeah. Okay, so this is called the evolution of the 5 element cycle. Now, I only have a very short time tonight, so I can't go through this totally because I might take a full day, like 3 hours to go through, and I intend to do a webinar on what period 9 is going to do to the rest of the industries, and for you guys to understand how to place yourselves in the more suitable or a more beneficial position, all right, as we go into period 9. How many of you would like to attend that webinar for free? For free. You can't buy it. I don't care if you're a trillionaire, you can't buy it. You can't buy it. I'm sorry. All right, we're not going to give you a payment link. No. Okay, stay to the end. All right, stay to the end, and I'll show you how to get it. Okay, because I'm preparing a webinar like this. Okay. Now, okay, so this is called the evolution, and this normally works with period 9 because period 9 is fire, and fire is the only transformative element for all 5 elements in this world. All right, so that's why I think that's why there's a special webinar created for this. Yeah. Okay, now can I go a bit deeper, guys? Okay, I know some of you are beginners, but can I go a bit deeper, just a bit deeper? Yeah. Okay, now the thing is this. Okay, now most of you know that period 9 is represented by the Li Gua, or the Li trigram, represented by this one solid line, top and bottom, and in the middle is one broken line. Okay, 2 yang lines and 1 yin line. Okay, this is called the Li Gua. Okay, so most consultants, Dato Joey himself, including other masters out there, right, when they talk about period 9, they always focus on Li Gua. Okay, and Li Gua talks about identity. Just now about period 9, we talk about identity already, right? It belongs to the fire element, the spiritual awakening, and all that stuff. Yeah. Now, but what a lot of people do not know is those of you who study feng shui, all right, those of you who study feng shui, you know the concept of early heaven bagua and later heaven bagua. Those of you who are beginners, ignore me for now. Just listen to what I'm saying. That's all, right? Don't try to understand this, all right? Those of you who understand feng shui will know that we have early heaven calculations and later heaven calculations. All right? Those of you who are feng shui students, type a me if you know what I'm saying. Type a me if you know what I'm saying. Good. All right, excellent. So, based on these calculations, there is another trigram that gives us more information, right? It's called the Qian Gua. All right, it's called the Qian Gua. All right, one is early heaven, one is later heaven. All right, so for us, we use these 2 trigrams to give us more information. Yeah, so the Qian Gua is talking about leadership, authority, All right. So it's talking about leadership. So leadership identity, what is it talking about, right? What is it talking about? What is the secret that we need to decipher? Okay, moving into period 9. It's called entrepreneurship. How do you go into immediate leadership? All right. Be your own leader, be your own boss. Okay, be your own boss. Now, some of you will start to get confused here, right? Some of you will start to think, Kenneth, period 8 was also about starting your own business and growing it and building it. Now you say that period 9 is about entrepreneurship. I'm confused, Kenneth. How many of you have this slight level of confusion here? Tap on me. What's the difference? How many of you want to know the difference? Okay, all right. Now, remember, what's the main difference? Period 8, it was a one-man show. I start one company and I accumulate. I acquire, and it becomes a massive mountain. But it is still one-man show. This period 9 entrepreneurship is not really talking about building, because it's a time of constant changes. So you don't really have the luxury of building over time because things keep changing. So everything becomes very short term. All right. So instead of building one big company for 20 years, people start to have multiple side gigs, which is what I call multiple streams of income. YouTube, 10,000 a year, which is not much per month, right? 10,000 a year. I do a bit of e-commerce, I earn another 10,000 a year. Okay, maybe I do some metaphysics consulting, $5,000 a year. Okay, maybe I start to sell some templates online. All right, using ChatGPT and using some AI, right? And then I make, just say, another $10,000 a year. Guys, I do not know about you, but I wouldn't mind having an additional $30,000 to $40,000 a year. How many of you would like $30,000 to $40,000 a year? Does that make you breathe better? Does that add a certain level of stability into your lives? This is the type of entrepreneurship I'm talking about. Not talking about starting one business and then growing it massively, right? Massively. That's more period 8, guys. Okay, that's more period 8. Period 9, you will realize that everybody's making a bit of money here, a bit of money there, a bit of money here, a bit of money there. Okay, per month, it doesn't look like a lot, but over time, over 12 months, you're like, oh my God, I think over, like, just say 5 to 6 revenue channels, I'm able to generate 40 to 50K. Oh my goodness, it's beyond breathing easier. It actually makes me feel rich. How many of you agree with me? Type of me. Angela, right? That's the kind of strategy you're going for, right? Exactly. This is period 9, guys. Can you see how different it is from the entrepreneurship in period 8? It's very different. Period 8, you have the luxury of stability. In period 9, you don't. So you don't have time to build. Got it, guys? You don't have time to build. Yeah? Okay, so don't try to build, guys. Okay, now, do you guys enjoy this? Do you guys enjoy this information here? Okay, all right. Now, okay, now, when I talk about entrepreneurship, most of you, I can categorize into 2 main categories. Those of you who are employees and business owners. So I'm going to take some time, right, just a short time, to talk about both groups of people, because your approaches will be slightly different. All right, slightly different. Investment in multiple corners equals multiple sources as well. I will look, yes, Diana, however, I would go beyond investments, because investments are slower. You have to go for something much quicker, which is generating your own sales. Yeah? Okay. Now, let's talk about the employee. Okay. Now, when we talk about employee, we are talking about multiple sources of income, such as social media, drop shipping, e-commerce, tuition, and the list goes on, for example, and the list goes on. Essentially, what are you trying to do? You are reducing your risk by increasing your backups. For example, if you have just say 5 to 6 additional sources of income, and just say tomorrow your boss got up on the wrong side of bed, looked at you, didn't like the way you look, didn't like the way you dress, and fire you. All right. Would you be totally lost? You'll be sad. Your income would take a big hit, but at least you know you have a backup. Do you think that this is the kind of safety net that you would like? Type a me if you agree. All right. And this is at the first layer of starting out, it is your safety net. But if you keep doing it and your revenue starts to grow, eventually, do you think you have a chance to eventually quit your job, retire, be your own boss, and enjoy your own form of self-wealth generation? Yes, right? You would have triggered an opportunity for you to transit from being an employee to your own business owner. Correct? Right? So you are trying to reduce your risk. This is what your internal compass is telling you to do a bit of. Okay? I wouldn't say 100%, but this is definitely part of the plan. All right? If your internal compass had a mouth and a voice, it will be screaming something like this. Okay? Now, those of you, I'm not sure how many of you are new to me, all right? But those of you who have been following me know, most of you know my story, right? Which is in 2017, 2018, I faced a potential bankruptcy for myself and my family. And I was lucky and I was able to use metaphysics to raise $750,000 over 2 weeks to get my family out of a potential bankruptcy situation. So that is my story that most of you who have been following me would know me. Right, to know my identity as that, to my background story. But what most of you, that means 99% of you, do not know is the prelude. All right. In 2015, I had the feeling of what you guys are having now. As I was approaching 2017, that means the first part of the transition, of the pyramid transition, I looked at my business. It was in stagnation. All right, I was in the oil and gas industry, supplying machinery to the oil rigs and the shipyards. All right, and back then, business was constantly about the same, stagnation, plus minus 10%. But if you plot the revenue, I could see a gentle slope going downwards. And in 2014, 2015, I had that very uncomfortable feeling, that unnerving feeling, that growing fear within me. Okay? Okay? Hey, Zen, you're from Fels. Yeah. All right. So what happens is that, so I had this compulsion. I had this, I was jittering. I was like, I have to start something. All right. I have to start something, right? So back then, what was the mantra, or what was one of the value systems? It takes guts to start a business. How many of you heard that before? It takes guts to start a business. Type a me if you have heard that before. Okay. This came from period 7, unfortunately, because everybody just wanted to work hard in a job. So when someone wanted to go against the grain and people didn't understand how to approach it, they said that you needed guts. All right. So when I grew up in the 70s, 80s, right? So I grew up with that value system as well. It takes guts. I'm a strong metal day master. Of course I have guts. All right. I'll chop anybody's head off who gets in my way. So what did I do? All right. In 2015, I started a business. And the reason why I started a business was because I started to get worried about my family business, and I just wanted to create a backup. Okay. That was, hand on the heart, sincerely, that was what I wanted to do. Okay. I invested 80% of my savings, believing you needed guts to do business, because my wealth profile is I'm quite self-sacrificial, okay, for family and loved ones, okay? But there was one problem, guys. I had guts, but I had no approach. That means I did not know what was the first step. I did not know how to approach it. I did not have a method, a systematic process, right? I had no methodology, nothing. I just only had guts, guys. I had guts and my experience in advertising that I accumulated when I was in Australia for a very short time. And I started my own business and I invested 80% of my savings. All right. Talk about guts, right? Yeah, just called guts with no brains, right? But that was me. Okay, back then that was me. All right, because I had no mentor, I had nobody. All right. I only had the love and the worry for my family. All right, to make sure that the food that we are still able to put food on the table. I work 6.5 days a week. All right. Right. I work 6.5 days a week. After 12 months, I gave up and lost 99% of my savings. Okay. After 12 months, that was beginning of 2017. Okay. And true enough, at the end of 2017, the market crashed, my entire industry crashed, and I faced a potential bankruptcy. And 2 banks were chasing us for a debt of close to $700,000. Okay. So my internal compass warned me. And I had such a strong compulsion to do something, and I did. And I still could not escape the disaster that was around the corner. So what went wrong, guys? Let me ask you guys, all right? What went wrong? I had the intention or the desire, which is the feeling that we have right now. Okay, we have the intention, we have the compulsion, we have the strategy. That means start another business, start a backup. We have the strategy. What's missing? The approach. So don't you guys agree that if I learned the approach, I could have escaped? I could have even created another profitable business. How many of you agree? Type a 1. All right. So I was missing the approach, guys. Okay, I was missing the approach. Now, how many of you guys here have always thought of starting a business, but you're too afraid of failure because you have no idea what's the first step? You have no idea what's the approach. Type a me. Okay, type a me if this is you, right? You've had some business idea, especially starting from 2017, all right? And you always have this, oh, I have this idea, but I do not know how to approach it. I don't know the first step. I'm afraid of losing all of my savings that I worked so hard for, right? Stuff like that, right? It's too risky for me. I want to do it, but oh man, it's just too, there's no mentor, there's too much fear, right? Exactly. So now you ask yourself, right? The fact that you can type a me in the chat means you have the intention. You have thought about it before, okay? And you have the compulsion. That means if I showed you a way to eliminate risk, all right, to find out if your business idea works or not with little to no money, would you at least have given it a shot? Yes or no? Type in the chat, yes or no. If I show you a way, that means I show you a certain approach that I could eliminate the risk and to test out your idea, all right, even if you guess wrongly, it doesn't affect your life. Would you at least give it a shot? Right? Most of you will say yes, right? So what is this talking about? This is talking about what's the missing link? The approach, guys. Right? Okay, now quickly, how about those of you who are already business owners? Type a me, those of you who are already a business owner. Okay. Now you guys need to approach a bit differently, but you guys need to be aggressive and you guys need to be ambitious. Okay. All right. You guys need to be a bit ambitious. So what you have to do, all right, because remember the concept of forest fire, right, guys? The concept of forest fire is talking about putting more candles together. All right. So it's talking about partnerships and collaboration because it's the concept of many. All right. So this is talking about leveraging on OPM and OPR. What is OPM? OPM is other people's money. This is called fundraising. That's why Datuk Joey has been talking about fundraising for the last 3 years. OPM. What's OPR? Other people's resources. That means connections, assets, expertise, right? Stuff like that. Okay, stuff like that. Okay, so it's always talking about, the essential part is talking about sharing resources. Why is it sharing resources, guys? Because if you can imagine a candle flame, do you think that the candle flame will survive without the wax? Yes or no? Type in the chat. Yes or no? No, right? No, right? So the flame cannot survive without the wax. What is the wax to the flame? It is the resource that the fire needs to survive on. So when people collaborate, everybody puts a certain resource on the table to share. It's like potluck. All right, one dish is going to be boring in the party, but if everybody brings a dish to the party, the whole party becomes a buffet. Agree? Right? So this is about sharing resources so that you can cross-leverage on each other without taking 10 years to do everything yourself. You can do it within a day. All right. And what's the purpose? So that you can scale up whatever you're doing in lightning speed. Remember, I told you about lightning speed, your eyes being in front of your ears, right? Through sharing resources and rewards. All right. This allows you to quickly achieve what you want to achieve in the quickest time possible before the landscape changes. Okay. I know. How many of you actually understand what I'm saying? Okay. Just in case you guys are not too sure, okay, because maybe you don't really like collaboration, for example. Let me give you a real example. Yeah, now this is a true story. Before I joined Joy Yap Consulting Group, right, 1 year before joining them, I experienced a $700 million mistake. Okay. Esther, I think you heard this before, right? You like the story, right? Yeah. So those of you who are traveling nowadays, right, you will probably see this at the airports. I'm from Singapore. So in Singapore, we have all this self-check-in counters that, you know, you take your own bags and then you drop your bags. Everything is automated. All right. How many of you experience going through this process? That means the self-check-in process, right? And dropping your bags and then clearing customs, everything is automated. How many of you have experienced that? Right? Okay. So in 2019, okay, in 2019, I just got out of bankruptcy. But when I got out of bankruptcy, I realized that I knew how to do business. Because through my entire experience of raising funds and getting myself out of trouble and all that stuff, I realized, oh, I know how to leverage on other people to achieve what I want, but yet still benefiting other people. It's about sharing resources. So when I was trying to find something to do, a friend of mine approached me. He was working for this baggage tech trading company. Okay, so I was like, okay, how would you like me to work with you guys? He's like, Kenneth, can you help my boss? All right, he has a great supplier in China. Okay, he has a great supplier, a great China factory that he works with. All right, but he can't even compete with the market leader in the world. All right, whatever he tries to do, the market leader can easily crush him because the market leader is a giant. Because the market leader has invested more than $20 million over 10 years and has a marketing budget of $2 million every single year. There is no way my boss can fight against these guys. Can you help me in any other way? All right. So I met up with the boss. All right, and I understood the whole background story. So I say, okay. I say, first of all, your current situation is you're in no man's land. How many of you guys here, okay, how many of you guys here are in trading. That means you're buying from somebody and sell and marking up a bit, and then you are selling to someone else. How many of you are in the trading space? Tap on me. Okay, the most common thing that you guys will experience is that your margins are getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller to the point whereby you're starting to lose money. Okay, if not, you're already losing money. Okay, why? Because you're stuck in no man's land, because you don't have the manufacturing power and the economies of scale of the factory. Neither do you have the market share of the market leader. You are stuck in the middle. You are in no man's land. So this was exactly the position that my friend's boss was in. And he was trying to find help to get out of this predicament. All right. So it's like, Kenneth, I know you do parts, I know you do whatever you do, right? And then you do a bit of business, and I know you raise funds, but we have no idea how to do all this. Can you help us? I'm like, okay, let's try, right? So the first thing was, the boss paid me $3,000 to fly over to Turkey from Singapore, because there was an aviation trade show over there. Okay, so we went over there, and the intention was going to meet the market leader straight and telling them that we are your competitor. All right. So true enough, I mean, imagine, right? I went with the sales manager. I'm only about 1.7 meters. All right. The sales managers are like shorter than me, right? So two of us flew over to Turkey, and the market leader were two Germans. All right. They were close to 2 meters tall. Okay. 2 meters tall. Obviously, when we spoke to them, all right, we could not stand too close. We had to stand like about a feet apart, because they were so tall. I could not see their face, because if I stood nearer to them, I would be talking to their nipples. All right. So that would not be a nice sight. So what happens is, that I will look at them, and they thought that I was a potential customer. All right. I told them straight that I am their competitor from Asia. Okay. And my factory is in China. Okay. They took a step back. Imagine two 2 meter tall Germans took a step back. And they started saying, do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have this? Do you have that? I said, yes, whatever you say, we have it. And we are producing this, all right, at 70% cheaper than you guys. They took another step back. All right. So suddenly, who's the giant now? All right. But I took 2 steps forward, and I said, we are not here to fight. We respect that you have the market share. Can we work together in some way whereby I'm trying to help you increase your bottom line by another 70% without having another extra client? Would you like that? I was a consultant for the company, right? So I just said, without having an additional customer, that means based on your sales right now, how would you like if I increased your bottom line by another 70%? They took 1 step forward. Tell me more, right? I have this factory in China, right? And we are doing all this that is compliant, all right? For you guys to know, right? We can easily organize a tour for you guys to look at our infrastructure, all right? We showed them a video of how we do it, and they go, oh my God, you guys have more than what we have, all right? But I told them, we are very happy just being a supportive industry. You guys have worked hard for the market that you guys have acquired. We respect that. We just want to help you guys earn more money, and we make some money on the side. Does that sound fair? And they were like, fine. That's great. Okay. So 2 months later, they were supposed to fly to China. So I flew back from Singapore, all right? And 3 days later, I flew to the China factory. Okay. And I told them exactly what happened. Okay. I told them exactly what happened. And the China boss was actually very, very happy. All right. The China boss was actually very, very happy. And so can you see that I'm starting to create something out of nothing, guys? All right. Something out of nothing. And the China guy was saying, oh, we don't speak English. We don't trust the Western culture. And I'm sure they don't like the Chinese. So how can we work together? I say that's when the value of a Singapore company comes in. We speak Mandarin and Chinese. We speak Mandarin and English, or Mandarin and Chinese. We speak Mandarin and English, all right? And the branding of Singapore is international. So what we can do is that we can always be the middleman. We can come up with a Singapore brand. We'll take stock from you guys and sell it to these guys. But no money exchanges through our company. We just get paid a commission as a marketing arm. Okay. So then the China boss was like, sounds fair. Okay. Now, so what's my value? Right? The brand, which cost me nothing. Okay. And because the market leader has the US, Europe, and the UAE market, that means the Middle Eastern market, the China people have the China market, Hong Kong market, and Taiwan market. So what's the Singapore company going to do? We can easily start to open up the Southeast Asian market because we have the branding of the market leader and we have the low cost of the China factory. So what we did was, after I flew back from China, okay, we went to sign contracts with Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, and Indonesia. 2 weeks later, we started signing distributors. Even though they have not bought a single tech from us, we can say that now we have the China, we have 60% of the global market. Okay, we have 60% of the global market. Now, the market leader, that means the two German guys, and the China boss themselves, they came to me and say, Kenneth, it's not just about money, isn't it? It's not just about buying and selling, right? You must definitely have a bigger plan. So I say, of course, right? What's the bigger plan? All three companies go under a holdings company, and we did a rough evaluation based on a revenue of US $700 million per year revenue. All right, pure profit was about US 300 million per year. And the guy from the one investment banker, as well as one of the assistants from the Singapore Stock Exchange, gave us a rough valuation around 2.4 billion. Guys, I started out helping this guy when this guy could not even make a sale because he was being bullied by the environment. Now we are looking at collaboration and achieving a valuation of $2.4 billion US dollars. All right, in 12 months. Tell me this is not lightning fast. All right. If you are the boss, if you are the boss who employed me as your consultant, how happy would you be? Okay, how happy would you be? This is called the speed of fire, because this was in 2019. It was already in the midst of the transition. Very happy, right? This is called, let me break this down for you guys. This is talking about collaboration, outsourcing, sharing supply chains, sharing market share, and getting investors in. That means fundraising. All right. This is all talking about raw wealth, RW, and IR, indirect resource. Can you see this, guys? Right? So this is called wealth creation into IW. That means IW is actually your wealth strategy. Okay, your wealth strategy. Okay, to achieving what you want, scaling up. Those of you who are business owners, scaling up in the quickest time possible. All right, this is called the period 9 compliant approach for those of you who are existing business owners. Okay, so a lot of you will say that, oh, the guy, the business owner who employed me as a consultant would be over the moon, right? 2 months later, guess what happened? All right, he fired me. He fired me. All right, he fired me. And when I asked what was going on, my friend who was the sales manager said that my boss is old school. All right, he employed you because he was hoping that you could increase some sales for him so that he could siphon money out because he was lacking in money. All right, but because your plan came so big that he could not understand and he was not exposed to it, as old school, he wants to control. Remember the one-man show? He wants to control. And when you came in, he felt that he started losing control over his company. That's why he fired you. Can you see this is what we call a wealth blockage? Okay, because based on his Sparta chart, the boss's Sparta chart, he was very myopic, and basically he didn't have the ability to have a foresight, a long-term plan. All right, a long-term plan. So this is what we call a wealth blockage. And a lot of people say it's a waste. Yes, it was a waste. Okay, but I guess things happen for a reason. But I know for a fact that I can do what I've just said because I've done it already. It was just waiting for the boss to say yes. Okay, but instead of saying yes, he fired me instead. So you never know what's going to happen. This is also something called period 9 because things will just keep changing, right? You will never know, right? Yeah, it's definitely a good experience, all right? So this, after all these experiences, right, I was no longer the Kenneth Wong that I used to be, all right? What was Kenneth Wong in the past? I was a struggling second-generation business owner, no knowledge on business, no discipline, no financial education, definitely no planning, very bad planner. Based on my chart, I was very reckless in decision-making, and whatever efforts I put in, I was always hoping for the best. Okay, that was me in the past. Okay, but after going through a near bankruptcy and all these experiences, building unicorns on paper and stuff like that, my chart was awakened. Okay, my students from the real life parts execution course would know how to activate your charts and awaken your chart. So when I was awakened, I knew how to do business using metaphysics. I've been a business owner for 15 years. I'm a recipient of the Successful Entrepreneur Award 2010. All right. Before joining JY, I was a business consultant and speaker for 6 regions in Southeast Asia on business growth. All right. I have single-handedly raised over $1 million for 3 projects and another 25 million for clients. All right. I'm an author and creator of the Business Growth Framework, which I hope that my publisher can, quicken up the publishing work and produce my book this year. And of course, I'm a Joey Yap consultant and trainer. Okay. So based on this, I would like to invite, right, all of you, especially those of you who have your internal compass being triggered, all right, to my new course called Passion, Profit, and 八字. All right, how to start your business or create your side hustle. Why? Because it has to satisfy both the categories, the existing business owners as well as people who are employees, and they might want to start multiple streams of revenue. Okay, this will be in December. Okay, this will be in December, and this was an impromptu class requested by the management team, okay, because they saw my background, and based on our calculations, we roughly know what people needed to learn. Okay, and this is one of it, all right, based on the information given to you from my webinar. Okay, this is a 2 days online live stream. Okay, it costs USD 497. What you will learn essentially is the business framework. That means, how do you approach your business idea without the fear of failure? Okay, how do you find your markets and paying customers? And more importantly, how do you generate recurring income and achieve stability? That means you want to be able to generate money on a consistent basis. Maybe not a lot, but at least dependable ones. Okay. I would also touch on fundraising, the types of fundraising, the mechanics of fundraising, and how to find your investors based on your 八字 chart. Okay, which part of December within the first 2 weeks, because anything later than that, it might get a bit, it might clash with other events, right? So within the first 2 weeks, hopefully, hopefully. Okay, and last part, power of collaboration, how to achieve fast and furious market acquisition and achieve explosive capital gains that I have just mentioned in my example just now. Okay, this is generally the gist of what you're going to learn, all right, in the main course. Of course, this based on metaphysics, you're going to learn the combination of indirect wealth with indirect resource with raw wealth strategies to achieve financial success in lightning speed, okay, in period 9. Of course, we have to give you an internal bonus to make sense, all right? The internal wealth code bonus number 1, your path to financial security. Everybody makes money, or everybody feels comfortable making money one way or the other. All right, what is holding you back? What are you good at? What are you short of? Right? You need to understand yourself further so you know what to improve on and what to amplify. All right, so that you achieve the path of least resistance. Bonus number 2, careers in period 9. This is the free webinar that I promised. It's called the evolution of industries and roles. Okay, all of this would be over $1,000 US. Of course, with a massive savings of 55%, is only you pay for the main course, we give you everything for free. Now, with the main course and the 2 bonuses, essentially, what are we trying to do for you? Okay, those of you who want to sign up, you can click on the link or you can scan the QR code. But essentially, what are you going to learn at the end of the 2 bonuses and the main course? Okay, you are going to master the basics of 八字 in business. That means in a side gig or in business. That means how to test, how to approach. This is the approach, all right, on how to not take unnecessary risks and test every single one of your business ideas without the risk, without the fear of failure. Find your paying customers, all right, and of course to generate recurring income. You got to discover your entrepreneurial potential, which is your inner wealth code. All right, align your business with your parts profile, okay, and craft a powerful business plan. Now, this is all the approach. That means when something happens, what next? When something happens, what next, right? So you are never lost. You will always know the next step. All right, and then how to make strategic business decisions, meaning how do you make decisions that you have a certain level of confidence that you know is going to work. How important is that, right? And then boost productivity and decision making. That means, and adapt. This is the most important part. Adapt to business dynamics, because in period 9, the landscape is going to constantly change. Correct, guys? It's going to constantly change. So when the market changes, how do you change at the same time? Make sure you're not caught in no man's land. Make sure you're not caught as a sitting duck. That is so you move accordingly. All right. Those of you who are interested, those of you who have the internal compass triggering, vibrating at overwhelming speed, all right, you guys would know. I don't have to hard sell you guys. All right, so those of you who think that this is exactly what you need to increase the amount of financial stability moving forward into period 9, into a period of instability and constant changes, but a lot of opportunities as well. All right, please join me, all right, in my new course that is going to happen in December. Now, I don't really, based on the tight scheduling of the Joya consulting group, I don't think I have a chance to promote this too much. All right. So what I'm trying to say is, with respect to the power of affinity, there's a reason why you're here. All right. If you guys get to see this, you guys have a choice. It doesn't mean that you guys have to sign, but you guys have a choice. So it's really up to you. All right. If you think this is a good fit for you and you think that I am able to help you based on my past experiences, then please join me in this course. Yeah. Why December? Because that is because we are trying to do this course before 2024 to equip you guys with the skill, and December is the only available time that the schedule is able to give me. All right. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Anna. Yeah. Yes, all classes will include 7 days replay. All right, 7 days replay. All right. Yeah. And if you need any payments in different currencies, or even just say payment options, right? Please contact Ocean and Mark, right? Then you can WhatsApp them, right? Their numbers are in the chat group. All right, guys. All right. Anything, don't worry. Just let Ocean and Mark know, and they will help you guys out as much as they can. All right, guys. Yes, payment inquiries, payment options. Yes, let Mark do it, right? Mark and Ocean, right? Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you guys for being here. All right. I hope that I've addressed a lot of your internal doubts, Okay, don't worry, you guys are not going crazy. It is just the universe talking to you. After today, you know exactly what the universe is trying to tell you. All right. For those of you who did not enroll, not to worry. I'm not going to unfriend you. All right. Just keep in contact. All right. Just keep in contact. Okay. The dates we will finalize. We are finalizing very shortly. Okay. And we will let you know. All right. We need to we are not just finalizing my dates, but we are also finalizing Datuk Joey's the bigger events, right? So we make sure that we don't clash. Yeah. Thank you for your patience, guys. All right. Any other questions for me, guys? All right. If not, all right, I'll see you guys in my class. And all the best, not to worry. Okay. Period 9, there are a lot of opportunities. So just keep your eyes and your ears open and welcome to period 9. Thank you, guys.